Hallo zusammen und schön, dass ihr wieder eingeschaltet habt hier auf meinem YouTube-Kanal. Ich konnte es mir nicht entgehen lassen, einen der besten italienischen Posaunisten zu interviewen. Deshalb ist das Interview auf Englisch, aber Untertitel einschalten und dranbleiben. Es ist so spannend, was Diego Di Mario uns zeigt. Diego, our next short mini masterclass is about a very important topic, not just for trombone player, for everybody, but I'm very curious what you will tell us about articulation and especially about legato and staccato.
Okay.
So to start, I think it's easier when you play for us.
Okay.
Can you show us the difference, legato and staccato? So the first scale was legato, the second scale was staccato.
Yeah.
How can a music student practice different articulation?
Okay. For first of all, I think we can talk about the air in the two different big type of articulation, the legato and the staccato. Then we have some types of legato, some types of staccato, but in these two big family, the most important is that the air comes out in the same way.
So it's not different. So it's legato and staccato.
They are not cutting in the staccato.
Okay.
The air comes out freely like the legato, but every time there is the tongue that give a little bit of the articulation, and then the staccato comes out.
Okay, so it's the tongue that makes the difference and not the air.
The air, no.
Okay.
Okay, this is the first thing. Then, before we told about the lip flexibility, one of the reasons why I play every day lip flexibility is to better play legato, because this helped me to feel free, to feel every note comes out in the same in the same with the same sound.
Yeah, same quality.
The same quality, and to have a good sensibility of the lips, to have a good legato.
Is it more difficult legato or staccato for you to play?
I think it's more difficult the two extreme articulation.
Okay.
The biggest legato and the biggest staccato, I think, is the more difficult thing.
Okay, that it's not something in between.
When we start to play, when I started to play, the legato for me was very, very, very difficult, because in the trombone the through legato doesn't exist.
Okay.
Or it exists in some case. Okay. The theory is when the note go down, and the coulisse too, you have not legato, and when the note go up and the coulisse too go up, you have not legato. In this case, you have to use the tongue, but in a very, very, very soft way that you cannot understand this, but you cannot have the glissando, because if you don't use the tongue, it's this. Okay. It's not legato.
Yeah.
You have to use the tongue in the legato too, but this has to be very, very soft.
Very little.
Yeah. Very little. And fast.
Okay.
And never stop there. This is the most important.
It's very difficult to show and to learn, because you can't show what happens with the tongue to a student. So you actually have to listen what's happening and try to feel and copy and try to figure out.
It's simple when the student play like this. This is a glissando, and this is not legato.
Okay.
But when you have a phrase, a concerto, or a little exercise for child, you have to listen very well, because the difference into a good legato and a not good legato is very little.
Okay.
And you have to imagine what's happened inside the embouchure of the student.
Yes.
Okay. Because you cannot see. We have not glass
X-ray
pieces. Okay. And this is for the legato. And when we play legato, we mix lip flexibility and legato. When I have to play two notes in the same position that are two harmonics of the trombone, B and F, for example, I don't use the tongue for legato, because the lip flexibility help me.
Yeah, and makes the legato.
Makes legato.
Okay.
Along. No? But if I have to play Si, Fa, Mi, for example, from the F to the E moll, I have to make the tongue. But you have not to listen this difference into the lip flexibility and the legato with tongue.
Okay. Okay, I understand, because when you change the position, you need the tongue.
I need the tongue.
You need the tongue, but it shouldn't sound different than when you...
Okay. This is the most difficult. For this, there are two schools. There is some trombone player that say, if we have not the natural legato for every note of the trombone, we use every time the tongue. I prefer think we have a natural legato from the trombone in some case, and we have to use this because this is the most good legato that the trombone can have, and we have to practice to play legato with tongue the most near to this other legato, to the natural legato. Okay,
I understand. So you have to use what. So you have to adjust and like that it sounds the same.
Yeah, and when you play a phrase, you have to think. The first time is very difficult for my student. I think is one of the more difficult thing to do, because when you see a phrase, you have to say, okay, this interval I don't use tongue. This interval I use tongue. This interval I don't use. Okay, is in the when you start is very complicated.
Yeah, it's very complex.
Then you have not.
It's natural.
You cannot. Yeah, I don't. Now I don't think about this. I play.
Yeah, now it's automatic.
It's automatic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then, but until it gets automatic, you have to make with the head, with the brain. You need to think about it and like plan also which movement.
Yeah.
And
don't use the tongue when you have the natural legato of the trombone, even if this can help you.
Ah, okay. So no cheating.
Don't crash the note.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And so starting from the lip flexibility to listen the natural legato of the trombone, because this is natural legato. It's easy to play this legato. Okay, but then you have to play music. And if you don't have for every of this note the natural legato, it's hard to play legato.
Yeah, it's very tiring because it's taking a lot of effort. And then okay, but I think this is the hardest but still easy, because it's like it's two things.
Yeah.
And so to focus, it has to be very clear.
Yeah. We have just to listen the natural legato from the lip flexibility that we play and copy this natural legato into the legato with tongue.
Okay, good. Do you have a good exercise for this, or you make this with scale or with any note?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Some slow scale, I think, is good. Maybe. And so on. I have this suggestion. The end and the speed of the coulisses is very important.
Okay.
For the trombone, for the legato, and for the staccato, for articulation in general.
Okay. This goes together with the speed of the air from.
Yeah. When we have to imagine that we broken our
arm.
Okay, and we cannot move this.
Ah, okay, yeah, and so you have just this.
The movement is by here. Okay, just in one case you can do this when you go in the 7th position, because it's too far.
Yeah.
Okay. In the other case,
it's just elbow.
You do this, not this. It's too smooth.
Okay.
For the articulation. This can be not precise, because you have to change from 1st position to 4th position in a very little time.
It has to be fast, otherwise you hear
fast, not stressed, not strong,
yeah,
but very fast and very simple.
I understand. So it's movement from the elbow, and then just in the end, the last is
just in the 7th position, from the 6th to the 7th position. You can do this. Then, if you want play some coulisse vibrato, you use this movement. It's
effect. It's effect. It's not.
Okay. But normally, I prefer for the technique of the trombone. I prefer think about this. And a good exercise to move in the right way the hand is an exercise very simple when it's slow, but very difficult when it's fast. You choose a scale and you play a very short note.
Okay.
The first note of this scale, and you go very fast to the next note. The hand move before you play. You play this faster and faster. And so on.
This is good coordination.
And then you if you want try to play a scale in a good tempo, a little bit fast. Just to fix with this exercise, if the exercise if you did the exercise in the right way.
Okay. Yes.
Not to go fast, not to do something exceptional. Okay.
Yeah. So it has to be very precise movement.
Study at home. We have to do mistakes because it's with mistakes that we understand how to do not make mistakes.
Yeah, sometimes it's the best way to understand what not to do. This is very, very big achievement while studying. Like some students always say, "Oh, I make mistake. Oh no, I'm not good." No. It's actually best teacher when you realize, okay, like this, not. This is important information.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, is very important, this exercise, and you can use this exercise when you study orchestral excerpts or concertos or whatever you want.
Okay, so it's more advanced exercise.
The precision of the coulisses.
But maybe the little ones, they can start slow.
Because it is for the mind is very difficult. Play the B and go on the do, but not play, but not play. And then you play do and then re, and then
it's very good training.
A coordination challenge.
For sure. Yeah, but this is actually already very good exercises what you showed with scales, and this one for the articulation, for the coordination. And thank you, you explained very good. I understood the difference with lip flexibility and tongue. I can't do it, but I understood. In theory, I know now.
And if you want, I just have some suggestion on the staccato.
Yes, please.
Because when I play staccato, I every time think about a sound of the staccato, and every one of us professional musician has in mind a staccato, a word that represent the staccato.
Okay.
For me, is pam. Because tan with the T is too strong, too
hard.
Pam has the same articulation,
Mhm.
but
It's still soft. It's still round.
much more softer.
Yeah, it still has.
And the M, the A, pa, pa, is the air
Mhm.
that you give into the note, and the M is the resonance
Resonance. Yeah.
that the note.
It's not like cut like this. The sound.
Not ta 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 ta, pam 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 pam. This is I think this is much more interesting.
This is very beautiful. I think for all instrument is very important. Even like for pianist or for violin, this idea of a sound staccato short.
Yeah.
With attack, but still with resonance in the end.
Yeah.
This gives quality of sound, and I think
Yeah.
it's perfect word because it's international. In every language is
Yeah.
pam.
Pam.
No, very good, very good. So,
Okay.
do you let the students also sing the scale with articulation, that they sing with the voice?
Yeah, yeah. I ask them to sing something they cannot play well good.
Okay.
And I start to ask them how you want sing this.
Mm-hmm. So that the imagination is
Yeah,
there.
imagine. Yeah, and they have some difficulty to sing what they have in their mind, because uh, they they feel not comfortable when you ask them to
I
sing.
know.
Okay.
It's very difficult. They say,
Yeah.
no, I cannot sing.
No, I cannot sing. But then when they see me,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel I like someone crazy when I sing what I want.
Yeah.
They play. In this moment, they are much
More free to try.
impressed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I think it's important when you can sing it, you are free also to play it then.
yeah,
And then you get also free in the body.
yeah.
Because if you
If you
don't sing, then
can
you're tense.
sing
And I think it's a
something,
problem also.
yeah, if you can sing something uh, in a with a good sound, with a good musicality,
Mm-hmm.
then with the instrument
It's easy.
is every time better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because imagination is already there, and then you can also, because what we talked in the beginning, that you really hear the difference between the legato sound,
Yeah.
like the natural legato. I think when you sing it also, then it comes natural, more natural.
Yeah.
And also the difference then.
Yeah.
You make a specific articulation exercise with scales, warm up, or also with repertoire. You have like, these are special etudes that you can say that is good for trombone.
All the brass players as this book is like a Bible
The Bible for
for trombone player, brass player in general, is this
okay.
bands.
Yeah.
And from this book you can have whatever you want on the articulation, legato, staccato, every scales, every interval exercises, every whatever you want.
Okay, perfect. I would put a link in the info box for this book, so that the students that don't have it can go and buy it immediately.
If they don't have, I think this is one of the most important book to have to practice a brass instrument.
Yeah, with your book, you can see that you studied a lot. You used a lot. It's like
you see my first page is not.
So actually, it should look like this. That you work. It's a working book.
Yeah.
Very good. And then
you can take some, for example, some little melody on this book to play different articulation.
Mm-hmm.
We can start from the legato, for example, and can play. in these two phrases,
you can practice
study
everything.
for 30 minutes.
Yeah. And thank you that you showed.
You can change the tonality. You can change the loudness of the sound. You can change whatever you want.
And thank you that you showed us, because like this technique is never boring, because there's so much creativity.
You can invent. Here in the book there is one. Yeah, just one. What to say? 9 bar, you know, and but you can repeat this for 10 times in 10 different way, and never get boring.
Yeah, and I think this is also the key to study really technique, that it stays interesting, that we stay concentrated, because when we repeat always the same, of course the brain is getting tired, and we lose concentration. But when we always change something, but I liked very much what you said, that you play the same notes, but you focus on one technical thing. It's like just one. You don't need to make 10 things parallel. Doesn't work. Like one thing you make good, and then you repeat another thing, and like this in rotation you can check all the things, the basics. And this is the better you play these exercises, the better you play the repertoire. Then you don't have to practice.
And the same thing you can do with the repertoire, with the orchestral excerpts. If an orchestral excerpt is right legato,
practice staccato,
or practice staccato, or
the other way.
The other way.
Yes, and then like this is interesting. It's not boring, and you keep also the flexibility for the training. The body is staying flexible, and you adapt. You can make slow, fast tempo. You can many things. So thank you very much for all these great exercises and ideas, and thank you that you showed us a bit how you practice. And I am sure that many students are very curious, or are very curious to see how
this
behind the scenes
talking can help someone, or can interest someone to practice something new.
Yes,
maybe.
I think it was a huge inspiration, and really I thank you a lot that you took the time to explain us.
For me, it's a very big pleasure to be here with you to talk about these little things, but I think
very important. Yes. So thank you very much, Diego, and I hope to see you soon, that in person.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.